The Chinese Belt and Road Initiative together in one major production. This is what is interesting here, is that we took up A, which is just a cover-up for using those countries, used to buy CO2 to use nations to be productive themselves. Like you say, you can have fish one day and you will eat fish only one day. Each demand has and philosophy, which is increasing the skill and the ability of those nations to generate and regenerate wealth by using their natural
human resources for their own. This is beneficial for China too. This is what the Western model doesn't understand. This idea of win-win is beneficial for everyone because the wealthier the African nations and Asian nations become, the better economic progress China will have. But a better, wealthier, and healthier market for Chinese goods and for Chinese technology. So China is transferring technology to empower those nations rather than helping those nations. The base program for helping to empower it, which means that those nations will stand on their own feet to in the AI age, what's the biggest threat to the rise to development as rich economies and computing power and data, the tech gap lies in inequality and blocks people's right to develop. Definitely impediment for development is inequality that includes
even access to internet. Half of the population don't have access to sustained internet connection. Half of the population don't even have access to electricity, sustained electricity. But with the AI age and now things going into very, very rapid development, many nations will be left behind because many of the production systems, the economic systems, the industrial systems depend on the integration of AI, information technology into the industrial processes and even agriculture. So many nations will be completely left behind in this process, and therefore these nations, I know some nations, at least a bit more advanced, they are trying to achieve what they call system sovereignty or technological structures that be able to integrate this into their own social and economic systems. So this is a very, very big challenge for many nations who risk being completely isolated and left behind in this process.
The China's global government initiatives have on human rights and development, and how do they differ from traditional Western views? Well, I think what the initiative itself is, first of all, to stabilize global security situation because things are getting controlled. International law does not apply anymore to some major powers. Israel, they take their own interest of the law. So they completely sidestep national law. This created an enormous role of the United Nations, international law, the United Nations Charter. So that means that now what this does to human rights is it removes this double standard that we have in the West, where human rights in the West means completely different things from the rights of other people. For example, the rights of the Iranian people, the Lebanese people, the Palestinian people are completely ignorant in the West because they have been subject to genocide, whether by Western powers or Western-backed powers like Israel. And China is trying to amend this situation and cannot have to establish for things.
Human rights should be part of the governance system that has a typical system where human rights are used as a weapon selectively when it fits the interests of these big powers, as they did in Libya, Syria. They say, well, we have to protect the rights of the Libyan people, Syrian people, the government, and then they invade these countries or killing hundreds of thousands of people, but ends up with militias and terrorist groups taking over the country. We see this all over the country. So we have to do nothing with the role of respect for international law and diplomacy, nothing can be achieved.
That was Hussein Askari, Vice President of the Belt and Road Institute in Sweden, speaking with sending the world cruises to a record high. The world experiences second hottest May on record. Anything to work with them with modern challenges. Listening to World Today. To listen to this episode again or to catch up on previous episodes, you can download our podcast by searching